Hey everybody. So this is going to be just a little bit of a review for theme. I do theme a little bit differently than other teachers do, and maybe it's a little different than what you've done in the past. So theme has a couple of ground rules, and there's a couple of helpful hints I can give you along the way. For the first part, I'm going to say that theme is really asking you the question, what does the author believe about a particular topic? What are they trying to convey? What thoughts, what feelings, what emotions are they trying to convey from their brain through that text to your brain? So, how are they doing that is important. What they're talking about is important. So, all of our other W's at this point come into play in one way or another. The two that I would suggest you pay special attention to are your why and your how, which again, I'm going to start using soapstone pretty soon instead of the W's, which is listed for you on your annotation guide as well. Everything is listed as both. So I would use tone and purpose if you're using soapstone with me. So the tone of the text, you need to be looking for a couple of those. I suggest having at least 3 when you look for the tone of a text, and I would use the abstract words from the list on the back of your annotation guide. Those would be great words to start with, and they would be really beefy words that you can really say something about. And then you want to talk about the purpose, or know the purpose of the text, which of course is going to be dependent upon the audience, but once you've determined a purpose, a particular purpose that you think is really, really impactful, important, or whatnot about the text, you can kind of combine those into making your theme. So, for example, you can take, let's say, the tone word isolation. You think that being isolated is a tone of a particular text. It's encouraging isolation. You can use that tone word and say something along the lines of, well, you would think the author believes that isolation, whatever, insert reasoning here. Sorry, the bells are very much working. And once you think the author believes that, and you answer that question, you need to go back and take out that author believes that. So let me show you what that's going to look like. All right, guys, today we're going to be talking a little bit again about theme. This is going to look a little weird at first, and you're going to have to do a couple steps, but the steps are things you already know and things that you've already looked at if you're looking at your W's and you're annotating the way I ask you to on your annotation guide that I gave everybody a copy of that is laminated. On the back is where we're going to actually start with this. So your step 1 is to find multiple tones for a text, or create a list of topics that pertain to the text, or are included in the text. And again, a good place to start is these 2 columns here. I would pick at least 3. It gives you some wiggle room, it gives you some options. So if you start a theme and you're like, I don't really know if I can make this work, whatnot, you always have a backup plan. And again, in my case, I like you to have 3, so you'll have 2 backup plans if the first one doesn't work out. So we would at first, again, make a list of those ideas. Then step 2, pick one. So when you pick from this list, you're going to pick one from this list that you have just created. Of course, it could be 3, it could be more, but I would just pick one. Step 2 is going to be to pick. 3 is start the sentence, or start the thought process with the sentence starter. The author believes that. Answer the question, or finish the sentence in this case. The author believes that whatever about blah, blah, blah. So use this tone word to finish this sentence. So explain that reasoning. So here, you're using your tone, which is your, or one of your hows for when you're annotating. And you might want to think about the purpose of the text. So your why. So your how and your why become really pivotal in this particular adventure with theme. All right? And step 4, once you have your sentence completed for step 3, step 4 is to cross out the author believes that, leaving only the sentence part that you have added. So your tone and your purpose combined into a sentence that tells me the author believes that without saying the author believes that. Because the tone it's important. It's literally the goal of the text. It's what the author is trying to convey to you. Again, from their brain through the text to your brain. So it's gone through a couple of things. And if you've ever taken a speech class, you know that sometimes those things don't work as well as they need to. So there's a couple of helpful hints that you might want to remember. Helpful hint 1. No theme is one word. Themes are always a sentence because it's answering the question or responding to the thought the author believes that. You have to finish the sentence. What does the author believe? What do they agree with? What do they disagree with? What do they think? And it needs to be both general and specific. It has to be somewhere in the middle. So if you know about the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears, one porridge is too hot, one porridge is too cold, one is right in the middle. We need to have our little happy medium. So tip number 2, don't be vague. Don't be vague or specific. So if you are too vague, you don't give me enough information to really answer this sentence or finish this sentence. But if you're too specific, that's like going to be if you're using character names or particular instances within the text, it's too specific. You can't use it outside. So I should be able to walk up to somebody, a random person, tell them my sentence, and they should be able to kind of say, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's a human truth or some kind of thing that just people understand or relate to. So theme is a sentence that represents some kind of human truth. So whatever that means. So, you know, humans aren't very trustworthy, or people are typically out for themselves. If you were to say Miss Jenkins is not trustworthy, that would be too specific. But if you were just to say, oh, people are not trustworthy, too vague. So we need to kind of limit ourselves from being too vague or too specific. We don't want anything too extreme. We want something in the middle. We want our Goldilocks porridge sentence. So our final tip is that theme is never a fact. It is always an opinion. And it can only be an opinion because it's what the author believes. The author believes something. And when you believe something, it's not a fact, it's an opinion. It's what you believe in. It's not something that others have to believe in. So keep that in mind. So step 1, get your theme started by finding your tone words, your abstract words on this side of your annotation guide would be the best bet for you, and it's going to make this a lot easier. Step 2 is to pick one of those words. Step 3 is to write and finish the sentence, the author believes that. Again, some places to start would be, again, your tone word or your how or your purpose and your why. So again, you should have already done all that annotating. So this should be pretty easy to do the first 3 steps. Or the first 2 steps going into the 3rd step should be easy. The 4th step, only leave your sentence. So you may have to edit a little bit. You may have to work the sentence around a little bit to make it a full sentence by itself that makes sense. But typically you will be able to just cross out the author believes that in your sentence, the sentence that you've made. That should be what's left, and that would be what we are looking for. Our theme. Fun fact about theme, guys, a lot of times, first of all, children have run in fear over doing a theme in my class. It's typically very hard, and I put a lot of work into that with you guys because it's very important. Because one awesome thing about a well-made theme is you can actually use those as thesis statements in your essays. So if you do the work now and you do the work in the moment, you have less to worry about later. So themes, good themes, can be used as thesis statements. And if that's not awesome, I don't know what is. Because like I said, it's less work for you in the long run. And of course, the more you practice this, the easier thesis statements will be to write. Because remember, you're really answering the question, what does the author believe? So when you think that, you can write the sentence, the author believes that, finish the thought, and mark that out, and you have right there your theme, and again, potentially a thesis statement as well. I am going to post a document for you guys that has this information on it, but also I wanted you to kind of work it through with me, and I am going to be working with you guys over the next couple of days. I want to see your themes because we're doing a whole separate text just for theme because I want you to get some practice. We're going to do some practices with 2 kinds and by any other name, but you will separately do a whole theme just for the text, my Indian father's plea, excuse me. So as always, let me know if you have any questions. I'll get this posted with this video. I would hopefully watch the video first, but that'll be additional notes. And again, it'll be the same information, it'll just be in a handout version, which will be a PDF online available to you. And as always, guys, let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help, and I'm happy to help. I guess that's it for today. Bye, guys. Be good.